Hi, I'm Bill Atkinson, president of Atkinson Strategic Communications, and I'm here today with Tony Gruebl, founder and CEO of Think Systems. Think is a Baltimore-based national technology and operations advisory practice. And on October 19th, Think is holding its first ever conference for technology, operations, and innovations experts called Innovate 2022. Tony, thanks for spending time with me and Citybiz viewers.
Thanks, Bill.
So tell us about Innovate 2022. What's it all about?
So Innovate is a way to really reach out in Baltimore and take control of the narrative around what Baltimore businesses are all about. It's just in general, it's a 2.5-day conference focused for executives of mid-market companies, $250, $300 million. It's a regional conference. We pulled in 45 different sponsors. We have 50 speakers at the conference. We're throwing a crazy after party on the first day. There's multiple events before the conference. And really, the point of the conference is to talk about this thing, innovation. A lot of executives say innovation, and maybe even have tried innovation, but we really want to get to what innovation really means for companies. And my senses and my team and our sponsor senses, really this region, we are primed to be a center for innovation, for great thinking, for consumer or our end user led advances in technologies that take these localized regional companies and propel them into the future. So the conference is all about pulling those people together for the first time and having this conversation. And with a little luck and some more sponsor support, we may make this an annual conference.
All right, that's good news. So who's coming to the conference?
So we've attracted mostly mid-market executives. 95% of the attendees are vice president, C-level individuals who are involved in a daily basis in innovation or technology or operations, because innovation exists at the center point of those things, right? We've done a fairly good job reaching out and letting everybody know that we're having the conference, and the attendee list really is, I think, as of today, it's 262 of those people, those executives that want to have this conversation.
And you have some pretty hefty speakers lined up. Tell us about those.
Yeah. They're, in addition to the executive speakers, so those folks that have actually done innovation successfully, and even those that have failed at innovation, we're leading off the conference with Jason Pfeiffer, who is editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. He really is a world-renowned innovation expert. He's just published a new book about that, which for all of our conference attendees, we're sending out to those folks. Sarah Frasca is another world-renowned innovation expert out of California. Great speaker, lots of energy. I think we're really going to like hearing what she's got to say. Rachel Marshawar from Amazon Web Services is coming down to deliver the closing keynote for us. So these are some really big names. I think there's some great big names in the region too, including the chief technical officer of a publicly traded bank, who will be delivering an innovation, talking on an innovation topic as well as folks from sponsor groups like Canton Group, that's always involved in innovation, One Rivet, who is just a heck of an innovative company themselves. So the whole conference is geared towards speakers who have done it and been there, succeeded and failed, talking about and talking with this audience.
Plus, you have Durai Sarani from Towson University talking about the economy.
Absolutely. Yep, the state of the economy and how the intersection of innovation and the economic conditions can come together to create some pretty interesting times.
Tell me a little bit about Think. Tell the viewers, Citybiz viewers, about Think. What does it do? And when was it started?
Yeah, so Think is a now nationally focused management consulting firm born right out of Baltimore. We're 19 years old. It started as my personal consulting practice, but it's developed into a full-blown consulting practice. Our customers are in multiple industries. We provide services around strategic alignment, innovation, how to drive strategic alignment down into organizations, and then how to operationalize that alignment, meaning how to execute it. We started as a group of operations consultants, project managers, program managers who really could take a project from start to complete without major trip-ups. I've written 2 books about the topic, Bare Knuckled Project Management and The Red Pill Executive. And really what those things talk about are how to do the things that are necessary from an executive perspective to get projects and programs completed properly. We've also added a whole group of practice managers to our organization, some of which are very well known in the area, including Beth Perlman, the former CIO of Constellation Energy, and just recently she was helping Fortune 100 companies at Gartner. Jeff Musgrove, who is the right hand man of Mike Abai, who used to run Legg Mason as CIO group, and he was the COO. Plus many other individuals that have come into the organization to really bring a high level of talent to our clients.
Yeah, this conference, there's going to be a ton of brain power.
Absolutely.
And when I was a reporter at the Sun, I never saw a company put on something like this. And for you, it must have been kind of a leap of faith. Just walk us through that.
Well, so the spark behind this was COVID, right? When COVID hit a number of years ago, Bill, I think I may have called you and I may have had a holy shit moment. I hope I can say that. What are we going to do, right? What are we going to do about this? We're shut down. We all have these companies that have to continue to move through this. How do we handle that? And Think had been a heavy networking company anyhow. We do a lot of events. We love meeting new people. We're always mingling with executives. And so we started to translate in-person to online meetings, sending crab cakes and beer to our participants the day of the meetings. And those really took off. And as we were coming out of COVID, my marketing director, Laura France, and I were speaking about the idea of extending that into something bigger. And the idea of Innovate emerged there. Now you can talk to our business development folks, Ed Mullen, for instance, and he'll tell you he thought I was crazy to do that. But really, I think that I think in a vacuum of that kind of thinking in this region, coupled with the idea that Baltimore is not just a burned out husk of a city. We are a thriving business community that has some real superstar players in it. And we need to represent that to the rest of the country. And those things came together, and the sponsors who stepped up to help us pull together the $500,000 it takes to throw a conference like this. I knew this was going to be a hit. So I think that's what we're in store for. I think Baltimore will benefit from it. I think it adds to Mike Gill's notion that Maryland is open for business. We're not just open for business. We're here to throw a few punches, take down a couple of companies that aren't innovative enough, and move ourselves up in the national standings.
Yeah, you want to put Baltimore on the map.
Humbly, I don't know that I can do that, but you know what? These 45 sponsors that have all come together, they can do it. We can do it together.
Now, when you first started promoting Innovate 2022, you printed up T-shirts with Tony Stark's face on it. And Tony Stark is actually Robert Downey Jr., a.k.a. Iron Man. Tell me about that. Why did you do that?
Yeah, following's not really my style. Okay, and so that is actually a quote from the Avengers. Tony Stark says that. The idea came from the sheer creativity out of Marvel, right? If you look at all the media houses that are producing productions now, Marvel has got to be some of the most creative, innovative, a team of players out there in that space. And so I love Marvel. I often think, what if I could mix together Marvel and a consulting firm? What would I have? I would have a bunch of superheroes, because our job is to really get out there and make the companies that we touch better, right? Leave them better than we found them, leave them growing faster, leave them leaner, right? Leave them making more money than they've ever made. That's what Think is about. It's about that kind of thinking. So when my team and I think about how to attack a marketplace, we really love to think about how the Marvel actors would attack it. Following's not my style. Which shouldn't be any of our style here at Think. We'll do this conference. We'll move on to other bigger things along the way.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, I mean, how you approach your own business. When I first met you, I don't know, a couple of years ago, Think was maybe 30, 35 people. And now how many do you have?
125.
125 across the country.
Across the country. We just made the Fortune 5000 for the second time, which represents just an amazing honor that, basically encapsulates our growth over the last couple of years. And I think we're going to continue to do that. Our team has the mission to multiply by 5 over the next several years. So I'd like to see us as a national consulting firm. We're already competing against the big consulting firms and winning. I like that a lot. And it takes the kind of employees that Think attracts, aggressive, very smart, ready to do what it takes, innovative kind of employees to make that happen. Bill, I got to tell you, I'm so proud of this team that we've constructed here at Think. I think one day Baltimore is going to look back as a community and say, hey, that company Think Consulting came out of this town. And we're going to say, damn right we did.
Yeah, for sure. You made a couple moves. I just have a couple other questions here, but you made a couple strategic moves. And one was appointed Joe Poling to president of commercial services and Brian Wolbert, president of government services. Just tell us a little bit about that, and then talk a little bit about government.
Absolutely. So Think with me as president was a decent company. Think with Joe as president of commercial and Brian as president of government is an outstanding company. These guys have worked their whole careers to be in the position to do to accomplish the strategic mission that we want to accomplish. What I had to figure out is how to get out of their way. And so the transition that you mentioned required that I step down as president. I went into a CEO role. I'll eventually build out the C-suite of Think and potentially move to a chairman role. But all of that is intended to let those people in my organization that have the skills and experience to build this company as big as it can be, give them the runway to be able to do that. I think we're on the path.
One other question about Think, and then I want to get back to Innovate. What does Think look like in 5 years?
I think it's over 600 employees, over $100 million in sales. I think that our client base will be even more national, more spread out nationally than we're sort of clumpy around different geographic areas right now. I think that you'll see a lot of names that work for Think in really important client-facing roles that you'll recognize. And I think that we'll be, when they talk about Deloitte and Bain and and the other big consulting firms, I think will be in that list.
Wow. Oh, okay. Now back to Innovate. What will make Innovate 2022 a success?
Well, the after party, of course.
Oh, okay. You better talk about that.
Who can have a conference without an after party, right? So when we thought about doing an after party, it wasn't going to be good enough just to get a DJ and provide a little booze. That's not what we're about in Baltimore. You know what Baltimore's about? Baltimore's about hammerjacks, right? And so I called Andy Hotchkiss and I asked him if he would be involved. And he said, damn right. And he also said, rock on. He said, I'm going to be involved. I'll be there. We'll bring the hammerjacks feel. It's not hammerjacks, of course, but We'll bring the look and the feel. We'll bring the attitude. And I said, this is great. And so I went to 98 Rock and I said, hey, guys, wouldn't it be cool if Kirk McEwen would take the reins of the after party and be our MC? And 98 Rock and Kirk said, absolutely, damn right we'll be there. And so 98 Rock and Hammerjacks is going to be there doing the MC work. The Baltimore Blast. Ed Hale is a friend of mine. I love the team. I love their management. The players, the cheerleaders, they're coming. So we'll have the Baltimore Blast there as well. We'll have the band Tripwire playing all of that music from the 90s and 80s that we used to love. We're really going to bring a taste of Baltimore to our regional friends that come to town. They're going to know what Baltimore is all about when they leave, and their head might hurt a little bit the next morning.
All right. That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, last thing, Tony, will we see Innovate 2023? I know you alluded to possibly, but I want something more definite than possibly.
Well, so we're talking now about Innovate 2023 at National Harbor, expanding it out. If we get 250 to 300 participants this year, I'd like to have 1,000 next year. But you know what? This isn't just about Think. It's not about me. It's not about us. It's about all of us, right? It's about the sponsors. I promised the sponsors that they would meet people that they would not have met before. I think that if we do that, if we're attracting enough folks that want to meet each other at Innovate, and the sponsors get the value out of that, I think they'll be right back again for Innovate 2023. We're ready to pull the trigger on it. I'm just going to talk to the sponsors after the hangovers go away.
Okay. Tony Gruebl, thank you for spending time with me and Citybiz viewers.
Thank you so much for having me today.